A very good morning indeed. On the 17th of October 2013, I would prefer greeting you with a bonjour to another brilliant day of Good Morning Sri Lanka, where we bring some awesome stories and some genuine concern about what's happening all around Sri Lanka, not just for Sri Lanka, in the world as well. And I've got the purple version of Barney, the female version of Barney, very purple. Good morning, Amaya.
Thank you for that, Banu. Really,
You're
that was
welcome.
a lovely way of introducing me this morning.
You loved it, right?
Yes, I did. I loved it. Can't you see all the love on my face right
Yes,
now?
just like Barney.
Feels like Valentine's Day, actually.
Okay, so that, I think that's a hint for us to move on to introduce. Stop with our banter and move on to introducing.
We got the hint. Well,
yes, the
today
man
we
right here
have
with us.
a legend in the studio on Good Morning Sri Lanka. We do have Kumar De Silva. We've had him twice on the show before, and there is actually no way to introduce him, and no distinct way of introducing him, because everyone knows him. But today we will give this specific introduction where we're going to take a look at who he is in the eyes of a photographer, Amaya.
All right, now as you said, Banu, now we know him as a media personality as well as a PR consultant. But I think his recent exhibition, which was Nostalgia Tour, put him in on par with some of the best photographers here in Sri Lanka. But we heard that you don't like to be referred to as a professional photographer, Kumar. Now, why is that?
Because I'm not. I am.
I think your photos will say differently, but elaborate.
I'm a self-taught photographer. I click what I like and what I see, and I wish to remain an amateur photographer.
I see. So, there we go.
Simple, short and sweet.
Yes.
But we will get to the bottom of it in the interview, Amaya. But you've, Kumar, tell us, you've had this strong relationship and love affair, we call, with France, going way back from the shows that you've done, from the exhibitions, from the photos that we're about to see. Tell us the origin of this.
Of what? The love for France or the photography?
Oh, we can start from whatever you want. Let's start with the love of France you've got.
Love for France began when I chose to do French for my A-level examination way back in 1980. I hadn't been to France, I had not, but I learnt about French, about France, and I always wanted to go to France. So, well, A-levels, degree, Université Alliance Française, and then I did work at the French Embassy and host one of their TV shows, and that led me to France. I've been going ever since for the past, I think, 28 years. And so it's been a lifelong, more than love affair with France.
Now, you've had many trips to France, obviously, but all that time you have been looking at it through the eyes of a tourist, maybe.
Yes, for me,
when did
it was a touristic discovery of Paris and various parts of France. But having worked with TV for so many years, I've discovered that I used to unconsciously look at people and things around me in frames. So I see you in a frame. So I thought, why not try my hand at photography? So I started to click. I use a very basic camera, which is, it's one that fits the palm of my hand, those little things which has got a fixed focus and a basic little zoom. Why that? Because I want to share with my audiences images the way I see it. If I were to, soft focus you and stuff, then it's not what my eye sees. My eye has a basic lens. It hasn't and has no zoom. So what I show in my photographs is exactly the way my eye sees it, and undoctored, please, completely undoctored.
That's the France that you want
the raw image. Yes, actually, it's I show raw images, and to me there's some kind of beauty and charm and authenticity in a raw image. But having said that, for me what's important is the composition, because it's a frame. So I take great pains to compose my frame and work with what I call the foreground, the mid, and the background.
Okay.
So that's a tough job, where I need to move horizontally or vertically in relation to the subject I'm shooting.
And this particular theme that you had this time for exhibition, which was Eiffel Tower Unplugged, tell us, elaborate more on that.
The Eiffel Tower has been there for the past 124 years, and the people of Paris hated it when it first came up for the World Exhibition of 1889, I believe, and so much so that people used to actually, take shortcuts and take roads where they didn't see the Eiffel Tower.
Such an eyesore.
Yes, it was an eyesore. This horrible structure of metal and steel, done by Mr. Gustave Eiffel, and this famous French writer Guy de Maupassant, he used to actually go to the Eiffel Tower restaurant and have his meals there, so that he could have his meals and enjoy the view of Paris without seeing the Eiffel Tower, because he was in the Eiffel Tower. Such was the dislike people had. But over the years, it became an icon. So what I did was, I've used the Eiffel Tower as a theme, which I unthemed. Now,
a theme which you unthemed?
Yes, that's why it's unplugged. I used the Eiffel Tower, the way I did it, as a prop.
Okay.
If I were to show you 30 shots of the Eiffel Tower, it's boring. It's just a structure. But if I were to show you life around the Eiffel Tower, things around it, but use it there as a prop, it's a different ball game altogether. And that's exactly what I did.
All right. Wow. So now when you look at France through the eyes of a serious photographer, do you see a difference in what you used to see, so many
I
years
don't
back?
enjoy it anymore because to me, I love walking around. The word is flâner in French. Just aimlessly walk around and just, take in sights and scenes and smells and sounds and stuff. But now, no, because I stop and I click and I look for angles, I look for frames and I click. So all the time it's a different experience. The thrill of tourism is gone, but the thrill of photography is there. So I think one compensates the other.
Okay, so it balances each other off then?
Yeah.
Taking photography into consideration, do you think it's more of a technical process, or is it a creative aspect, or is it the combination of both?
It's both. It is a very highly creative exercise which has to have a technical support. I just can't shoot you the way you are. I need to compose a frame, and that's where the techniques come into it. I need to see you in relation to this column, to that frame, the background, the light. So it's a combination of both. How you balance both.
So for anyone out there who doesn't want to be a serious professional photographer,
and
who wants to,
myself, yeah.
Exactly, who wants to follow in your footsteps, what sort of advice would you like to give them to take the first step? Where should you really go on?
Look at what others have done. First of all, I'm greatly inspired by the two French famous Henri Cartier-Bresson and Robert Duano, famous for their fabulous black and white shots. So I've looked at a lot of their work, and I've certainly drew a lot of inspiration from them. And
France is such a vibrant country, and especially Paris. When you come to that, it's a vibrant city, the city of lights. But why have you chosen to go just with black and white photos?
Because throughout my life with TV, I worked with color images. In front of the camera and behind the camera, it was always color frames, color images. So I thought, let me give a break and see. My world around me is always in color. So I wanted to have some. This medium of black and white, I think, gives me a chance to express something more than that. And I like the shades of grey. The shades of grey, and there's a grain which is almost tangible, and that's what I like in black and white.
Okay,
you can feel it like this,
Yes. So talking about the exhibition, the title of it is Nostalgia 3. So obviously, taking the meaning in English, it's supposed to be nostalgia. What's the story behind that? How did you come up with that?
I was trying to brand this thing. Okay, the first two were Nostalgia 1 and 2, and then I didn't know how my work will be accepted by the public, because after all I need to show it. So it was a trial run. So Nostalgia was my reminiscence of France and where I've been to. Both the early ones were mixed themes, 1 and 2, just mixed shots, mix and match.
Yeah.
The feedback was good. I was happy with the feedback, and then I thought, let me get into themes now, untheming themes. So next year, for example, is Notre Dame de Paris, the famous cathedral of Notre Dame, Our Lady in Paris. That again will be the cathedral, its spires, its Gothic monuments, its gargoyles, all that used as a prop to show life around the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Alright, so we'll try to get up some of the pictures of that you've taken, and that was part of this particular
This year's
exhibition.
Nostalgia 3.
Right, but what did you find very special about Nostalgia 3 while we get these pictures on the screen?
It was exciting because I actually had to spend this is the Eiffel Tower. See, again, you see the tower, but I'm focusing on this statue, this torso, and again this bull on the fountain. The Eiffel Tower is there, by the way. Here again is the fountain, and the tower is just there. This lamp post, the jets streaking the Paris skyline, the grey skies, and the lamp post far away. This is the French Embassy's cultural councillor and the Alliance Francaise director. This is my family. And we had the good. This is the famous actress Sriyani Amarasena, who was a great fan of black and white photography. And the new French ambassador, his successor Jean-Paul Monchot, and his wife Françoise, who were there actually, and these are also friends again. I had different people from cross section of people who love photography, and the great Lester James Pierce, friend of France, and also was Iragani Sailor Singer, whose photograph hung once in the Petit Palais in Paris in 1950. And
I did not know that.
TV personalities, Nidra Williams, and lots of nice people came, and we had a great evening actually.
So it was a very special exhibition then for you as well as for everyone who came to the exhibition.
Yes, the feedback was genuine, honest, and sincere, and that I know.
And we heard that there was something very unique about the decor that you had at this particular exhibition. So what did you tell us about that?
Yes, it was fun because I spoke to my friend Lo Ching Wong, and the Lion Event Gallery is a white space, a long white rectangle like this with nice white walls. So we thought, it can be rather tedious having black and white only. So the dress code said, everybody please come in any combination of black, blue and or white and or red, the French colors, the French flag colors. And then what he did was, Lo Ching brought in these 3 mannequins, 6 foot tall white mannequins, one dressed in white or blue, one in white, one in red. And we had blue and red sofa. So the entire middle of the hall was a symphony of blue, white and red, the French colors, and around it were black and white photographs. It was
visualize it. It would have looked gorgeous.
And very striking actually.
Because atmosphere, ambience is also very important. And it was, I liked it.
Definitely, and that's the best way to go. But do you feel that now all of these things that inspire you, do you think that you can sort of transfer that into a Sri Lankan context as well, and you start going around,
Yes, I have. In fact, I have two in the pipeline. One is the golf fort. I love the golf fort. Again, it's oozing with history and charm and stories. And I've started shooting scenes of the golf fort. But then again, the theme will be the golf fort, not an Eiffel Tower. And the other one is a Buddhistic theme I'm doing, hopefully for Vesak next year, where I use a bit of a chaitya or a boat or Buddhist statue, but to focus on life around these famous monuments in Anuradhapura.
So there are plans on the way.
That again is I'm working, but lack of sponsors. That's another problem.
In time to come.
The trials of an amateur photographer, I guess.
I had the idea of the Côte, which is France's only recognized language arm in the city of Colombo, coming in to host this exhibition for the past 3 years. But so they will do French photography, but I need to find local sponsors for local themes.
We do need to take a break as well, Amar, but before that, one final question from you in this segment. Tell us about the response that you got from the fans outside, because I know it definitely must have been a proper comparison between the last 2 that you've done.
Happily, I've sold photographs. This time I managed to sell photographs, so I think that says it all. I couldn't sell the first 2 years, but this I think I sold more than half the images, so that answers your question.
Definitely does, Banu. Alright, so I think we can go for that break now.
Exactly, but do not forget to join us on our Facebook fan page as well. It's www.facebook.com/Good Morning Sri Lanka. But we are to understand that all this was made possible by the Alliance Française de Côte. And after the break, we have the director of that organization, Monsieur Alexandre Martinez, to talk to us on the show on Good Morning Sri Lanka as well. We'll be right back. Do not go away.